Hello everyone, it is HBT and I'm here with the World Championships in 2018. Now this is obviously happened and taken place, but I want to show you some commentary and show you what I can really do. So this is the final match that was between Emilio Forbes of America and Paul Ruiz of Ecuador. Now I'm going to give it my best shot. I'd love to hear your comments below. So here we go. So this is Emilio's team. He's got a Tapu Bulu, an Incineroar, a Gengar, a Latias, a Landorus and a Politoed. Now I absolutely love Politoed. It's one of my favourite Pokemon that came into the generation. Landorus and Incineroar, that is a proper problem for any Pokemon just because you can rotate and get the Intimidates on, which is a real pain in the backside for anybody. It could be a bit of a terrain war. You've got Tapu Bulu who can provide that. I love the staff member there. He looks like he really wants to get involved in this, but he can't. In fact, there's 3 staff members there. It takes that many. And it looks like we've got a bottom there. You can see on the other end. Cameramen diving in elsewhere. Now we're going to be seeing Paul's team. What's he got? He's got a Tapu Koko, a Salamence, a Snorlax, himself has got an Incineroar, a Gastrodon, we all love a Gastrodon, and a Katana. Now, it's nice to see you've got a Gastrodon there. That's not normally something you'd be seeing. You've got the Ecuadorians going absolutely mental over there. That's great to see. Considering how far some of these people travel, it's an absolute great thing to see so many people in one room. It's incredible, really. There's that guy trying to get a camera. Oh, no, he's actually showing a toy. He's flashing his toy. But again, as I was saying, Gastrodon, I love it. It was one of the ones I was using at the time because literally it's there and it absorbs any water attacks, but the problem it will face, if that comes against Tapu Bulu, it's going to get itself out of there immediately. Snorlax was a real threat for anyone who's playing Sword and Shield at the moment. Snorlax was an absolute threat back in this period because it had the ability Gluttony, because the berries gave you more, and because of the fact it could literally just refresh its own berry. It didn't need a Dynamax or Gigantamax, it was just in. So it looks like we're ready for game 1. Are we ready for game 1? I think they get the staff are ready. They've got the little microphone sorted. I myself have never been on the top floor. Would have loved to be on the main stage. I've never been this. And I think if it did get it, you'd see me like Emilio. I'd have a little bandana on so you can't see what I actually look like. So here we go. Look at that for a background. This is game 1, best of 3. And let's see how we get on. Now, I just have my own notes, and that's only just what Pokemon each one have got, and I'll be taking notes as this is going on. I can't remember who wins this, so I've not been watching this from start to finish, so you've got to excuse me. I haven't got that prior knowledge about what moves they've got. So it looks out, you've got Paul is going to be sending out his shiny Gastrodon and Salamence, where Paul is going to be sending out a Gengar and his Landorus. His Gengar is also shiny. What are the odds of that happening? So Salamence gets the Intimidate off, as it does his Landorus. So it looks like at the moment, both are in a good position. Mega Evolution is allowed at this point, but that Gengar could have something like Icy Wind. It has a range of tricks up its sleeve. But wait to see what they're going to do. When are they going to use their Mega Evolution? When are they going to use their Z moves? So who's going to strike the first blow? Both have lost their attack boost, but the thing is with Salamence, you don't know if it's going to be a physical attack Salamence or it is going to be a special attacking Salamence. It would be absolutely great if I had a co-host to give my voice a break over these next 20 or so, 25, 30 minutes, depending on how long this goes. This could go the full 50, which would be terrifying for my voice and probably for my wife, who is actually making my dinner as we speak. So Landorus comes back. It's not going for any U-turn shenanigans, and it's bringing in Incineroar. So that's another layer of Intimidate. That's another attack boost that's going to be hitting that Salamence. This is basing on the assumption that that is an attacking Salamence, because if it's not really a problem. Salamence going for the Mega Evolution, and it's going to pick up the Aerolite ability, which means it is going to be hitting hard with any normal moves. Now become flying moves and get an extra 30% damage. And Gengar is also going to Mega Ever-Evolving. Now again, those people who have come in late in Sword and Shield, and even during the X and Y zones, the X and Y, it lost its ability it used to have, and it was so monstrous with Levitate, as we see the Dragon Dance coming in from the Salamence, which means it's going to lose one of those attack boosts, so it's still -1, but it does gain the speed boost. So you've got a substitute coming in from the Gengar there, and what's going to become... Oh, we've got a Z move coming up, and it looks like the Gastrodon is going to be using a Z move. But who's it going to use it on? Now, if it uses it on the Incineroar, that's a great play, but I can't see him doing that because at the time, Landorus was out. And he's going to be using this on the Gengar, which means it's going to be an absolute waste because it's just going to go into that substitute. And it is. So that's a really good play from Emilio. That is Paul's Z move. Absolutely wasted at this point. Absolutely wasted. It should still get rid of the substitute, which does leave it open for the Salamence, but still, that is a Z move effectively wasted. Your Z moves, you want to hit fast, you want to use them, and you want to knock them out. So who's going to be... Not been much movement. Turn 1. And that's the thing often with these battles, it's just trying to get yourself in the best position. You want to try and get in the best position, because if you get in the best position, you put the pressure on your opponent. I'd say at the moment that Gengar, the Incineroar are probably looking like the better team at the moment. So Incineroar has that fake out, and it's going to be using it on the Gastrodon, so no Ice Beam or no Water Attack coming out there. A Double Edge. Oh my god, the Gengar is gone. That is a big statement. The Mega Pokemon is gone. Even with a -1 attack drop, it is gone. You didn't see that going to be happening. I thought it might hang on, but no. But that is the power of Salamence. That is how terrifying it is. And thank God it's not in Sword and Shield at the moment. So Latias comes out. Yeah, one of the pseudo-legendaries, legendary Pokemon that you could recall. Latias can be an awesome monster. It has the power to Mega Evolve as well. So you're going to have put Emilio on the back foot. You got to give me a second as well when I'm swallowing, because literally I am going to be trying to talk as quick as I can. You're going to see, Paul is in a very good position at the moment. He could also bring back his Salamence if he wishes to, and just give it a bit of a break. He has got the speed boost, so I'd be going straight after that Latias if I was him. You could see the Incineroar coming out to just lower the attack. So he is going to rest his Salamence, and he brings out his own Incineroar. So that puts pressure on Emilio's Incineroar, and it also allows Paul to have his own fake-out pressure. You've got the Gastrodon there, which is able to put pressure on either one of Emilio's Pokemon. So Emilio's bringing out his Landorus, and I think he's happy with that. Paul's giving the thumbs up, and out comes Landorus. I think that's what he wanted. I think he's very thinking he might have gone for that. And I suspect an Ice Beam might be coming out. That's by his reaction. Let's see what's going on. He is using an Ice Beam. Oh no, it's Latias using the Ice Beam onto Incineroar. It's not going to do that much damage because he was expecting it to be on the Dragon, on the Salamence. And he got the switch. Paul got the switch, but it's not got the kill. Wow, considering that's so weak, usually so weak to ice, Landorus is taking it and he's done okay. So Landorus is still in, but Incineroar does have that ability to use a fake out, so this could be the end of Landorus this turn. If Landorus doesn't protect, it's going to be bye-bye Landorus, and you're going to have Emilio down by 2 Pokemon, and Paul in a really good position. He'll still have his Mega. Although he has lost his Z move, he's managed to get this back. We're going to have to see what Latias is going to do here, because it's not really in the best situation. And it's weak to the Incineroar because it's not going to be able to hit it with any Psychic moves, with Incineroar being a Dark type. So the Gastrodon's being removed. I suspect that Salamence, no, he's brought out his Snorlax. That's a really good play, because Snorlax is going to be able to take anything that Latias throws at it. It does use a Protect, so nothing's coming onto that Latias this turn. And Landorus uses Protect. Okay, so he's used that just to scope out, make sure he's not going to be hit by that fake out. There's the what I thought he might have been going into, the Landorus. So the Snorlax is in. This is a good time to get it in. Landorus is nearly at a point where it could be out the game. But you've got Latias, who's not going to be able to do a lot of damage to Snorlax. And as I said earlier on, Snorlax was an absolute monster during these periods. I love it. It looks like me. Well, it did look like me. I have been losing a lot of weight recently. Again, if I had a co-host, they can compare that. You've got Paul bringing back his Gastrodon into the battle, save his Incineroar, bring it back in later, get that Intimidate damage off. Snorlax goes as a Protect, because at the moment I don't think the Landorus actually had been intimidated. Latias uses an Ice Beam. Who's that going onto? Onto the Gastrodon. Not really going to do a great deal of damage. And a Z move is coming out for the Landorus, and I think it's going to probably go into the Snorlax. What's he going to go for? Is it going to be the fighting move? Let's have a look. I can't remember what the Z moves or the combinations are. It's been that so long. It's a Tectonic Rage. It's got stab damage. This will do a chunk of damage. It's into the Gastrodon. This should be the end of the Gastrodon. I'd imagine this would be the end of the Gastrodon. Let's just see when it goes into the Earth's core. Gastrodon is gone. So Gastrodon's gone. That is the end of that. But the problem is, now it's lost its Z move, when that could have really gone into a Snorlax. But at the same time, it was protected. So Incineroar comes back out. Now you're going to have more Intimidate damage, or more stats being lowered onto that Landorus. So Landorus is probably going to have to get its backside out of there, because it's going to be weak. Again, it's going to get the fake out potential is there. But what's that Snorlax going to do? It can Belly Drum, it can Curse. It is in a really good position now, because all he's got left is his Incineroar. So Landorus comes back. This will be his Incineroar coming back in. And you can say Snorlax is in a great position right now. If it goes for a Belly Drum, I can't see it being stopped. And I see Paul just absolutely destroying it for game 1. So let's see what he's going to do. So the fake out, that's going to go into the Latias. So there's going to be nothing coming on Emilio's side. We have gone for a Belly Drum. What a play. I think Paul's in a great situation at the moment. He should be laughing himself. Inside, I'd be absolutely pooing myself, knowing I'm in such a good position. So the berry comes in, and this is what you'll see. So the berry literally gets him back to full health. That doesn't happen anymore in Sword and Shield. They've actually reduced that because of situations like this, where that Snorlax is now so damaging. And the Incineroar is probably more likely to go for a Fake Out on the Snorlax just to stop it doing anything. But we can just have a switch from Incineroar into the into his Salamence. He's in a really good position. Yeah, I would have done that. I would have protected it. Make sure your Snorlax is completely safe. Incineroar goes for a Fake Out. He's gone for the opposing Incineroar. Latias goes for an Ice Beam onto the Snorlax. I think he's going to have to hope he's going to have to get a freeze. It's the only play he's got at the moment. Now, the Snorlax has two got combinations. If he goes for an Earth move, Incineroar could swap out, which it probably should do, just to try and get Landorus in, just to try and lower that attack, although it's at +6. +5 is better than +6. But Snorlax just needs to not use the high horsepower and just go for a return or something like that. But instead, he keeps him in. I think he knows the situation he's in. Latias gets against Snorlax, doesn't do that much damage. Snarl comes in from Paul's side of the field, trying to make Latias even worse. That's a special attack drop. That was me swallowing. And so Incineroar, not going to really be bothered by a special attack, but the Recycle comes in from Snorlax, so it gets its berry back. Again, this is showing why Snorlax was such a monster. So we've got a U-turn that's going to hit Snorlax. Does absolutely nothing in reality, and he is able to bring back in Landorus. And because of that, he can also switch Landorus in. He's got U-turn himself. Well, I imagine most Landoruses usually have that set. So that's the thing, it's going to be trying to lower that attack. So now we're down to +5, and it's better than +6. And the Incineroar, that can just sit there pretty. If it wants, it could decide to bring out the Salamence, but at the moment I wouldn't risk it. It can do Snarl damage, it can be a pain to Latias, make it as weak as possible, and you've still got Salamence in there who's in a really good position in its Mega Form, and it's really, without that Latias, I think they're going to really struggle to work out how to get rid of that Salamence when it does decide to come back in. So Latias once again goes for an Ice Beam, it's looking to get a freeze. Doesn't do that much damage. Landorus goes for an Earthquake. It is going to hit both of these Pokemon, but I can't see it finishing off Snorlax. Might get rid of Incineroar. Let's have a look. Yep, the Incineroar has gone. Snorlax still hangs on, but its Berry's going to now kick in. It did get a critical hit, but I don't really think that would have mattered. But now the Salamence comes back in as we see Snorlax getting its Berry recovery, and it's going to be about 75%. But now here's the key thing. So Snorlax goes for a Frustration. That has gone into the Latias, and that is the end of that. So Latias is gone, and that is the main threat that was potentially for Paul. So that is done really well. So Salamence is going to come in here and probably have an absolute field day. I can't see anything stopping it here. You have got Incineroar that can use a Fake Out, but I suspect you're going to have Paul using a Double Protect this turn just to remove any Fake Out shenanigans. And here comes that shiny Salamence. Look at it in its lovely beauty. It is -1 attack, and Snorlax goes down to +4, but I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem for Paul at this point. I think, oh, we're going to have a forfeit. Is Emilio forfeiting? I think he knows his situation's dire. Is he going to be forfeiting game 1? He has. He's forfeited game 1. He doesn't want to give too much away. That's what most people do. I think in this situation, I think it was hopeless. That little kid's enjoying himself. He's not even cracking a smile. Good old Paul. Again, if it was me, I'd be absolutely pooing myself. Write something down there, probably going, I need a poo. Again, why are there 3 judges? Someone will have to explain that. It really will. So I think, while it looks really promising at the start for Emilio, that Salamence hitting that Gengar, just getting rid of it, showed the power of Salamence and really, well, put Emilio on the back foot immediately. But it allowed Paul just to keep that Salamence in the back and not really need to do anything. The Salamence barely came out, barely did anything, and eventually when it does come out, it's not even needed. Literally, I think the whole thing is if you can get that Snorlax into a position where Snorlax can dominate, it's a tough ask to be a Snorlax. Most people will like to put Snorlax either at the start or at the end, so it can either clean up or it can just put such pressure on your opponent. Paul trying to get the crowd up now. You can't hear the crowd because unfortunately I've got Aaron Cybertron Zheng. His commentary is currently on this, so I've actually had to put my own music on. So apologies if you're not getting the Pokemon sound. It's just I don't think you want to hear his audio with my audio over the top. And by the way, Aaron, if you have decided to watch this, thank you very much for liking my tweet. You are the reason I wanted to do this. I know you're an extremely good player, but you're a very good commentator, and I love commentating. I think it's really good fun because you've got to think on your feet. Your mind's got to be working the whole time, and I really hope if you watch this, you're enjoying what I do. And as I said, if anyone does like this, please give it a like, please give it a comment. You can always subscribe. I love to hear more feedback about how you think I've done, what you think I should do better. The more I get, the better. You know, I just want to improve and do well. I'd love one day to be sitting on a stage where I'm sitting in a suit with my little bow tie on. Maybe I'd wear a bow tie, I don't know. So we're into game 2 here. What is Emilio going to do different? He is on the absolute back foot, and I can see Paul dominating here. If he does plays like that again, it's going to be... I don't really see what Emilio can do. But this is the final. You don't want to count anyone out. That'd be wrong. Pokemon is a game of odds. It's a game of maths. There is so much to this, and it's not just a foregone conclusion. So here we go. So Salamence Gastrodon again from Paul. So that's a good start. He knew it worked last time, and we got Gengar and Latias. So the Latias is out, so that immediately puts that Salamence under pressure. The thing you're going to have to worry is that Salamence quicker than the Latias? Because if it is, then the Salamence is going to be putting the Latias under pressure. Now again, we didn't get to see what much that Gengar can do, apart from having Substitute, as it was dead the next turn. We do know that Gastrodon has Ice Beam, and that's about all I think we saw, and it has an Earth move. We did see that because of the Z move. Latias has an Ice Beam, again, that's all we've seen, and Salamence, we've only seen the double edge, so we've not really seen much about what they have. I suppose the other commentators will know what they have, because they would have seen the previous rounds, and they might have the move sheets in front of them. I don't. Both players taking their time. Emilio's probably thinking, oh bugger, what do I need to do? I need to also roll some... I'm not going to be swearing in this, because if it was an actual commentary match, I wouldn't be swearing. There'd be lots of probably curse marks everywhere. So Salamence comes out, and in comes the Snorlax. It can go into both double attackers that do special attackers. It's not really going to be bothered by them. Gengar, once again, is going to be using its Mega Evolution, which means that Gengar, that Snorlax, and that Gastrodon are now trapped, because it gains the ability Arena Trap when it does Mega Evolve. Don't know why it goes white, no idea. So Gengar goes for a Protect. So really giving Snorlax, and they've both gone for a Protect, probably trying to scope out what Paul was going to do, but Snorlax has just got a free switch in, and again he's going to be using that Z move, and again he's going to be using the ground move. I suspect this could go on to either one. Actually no, it can't, because the Latias can Levitate. So this is going to, once again, it's going to be hitting the Gengar, but this time it is going to be doing a bit of damage, because it's protected, so you can't fully protect against the Z move. So let's see how much damage it is going to be super effective. Into the core it goes. Won't do a lot of damage. Wow, did more than I thought. Did nearly half. There we go. Critical hit. So Emilio's probably thinking, bloody hell, this isn't going for me. Paul again's probably thinking, ha 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 ha. I will be secretly, I'd be laughing. You can't do it outwardly. It's not very sportsmanship. But inside, I'd be like, ha 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 ha. Sucker. So again, we've got still Snorlax in such a good position. This can go for a belly drum. Shadow Ball coming out from the Gengar. That's going to be going to the Gastrodon. How much is he going to do? It's not even done half damage, although a special defense drop isn't going to help. But what is going to be happening? Now we've got the Z move coming out from Emilio's side. He's using a Psychic move. Is that probably going to go onto the Gastrodon? I suspect it will be. It'd be funny if it does it onto the Snorlax, because you're going to get to see Snorlax bounce around like anything. So Shattered Psyche coming in. Who's he going to be throwing this into? He is throwing it into the Gastrodon, as we thought. It would have been hilarious seeing Snorlax doing this. Bing, 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 bing. That should be the end of Gastrodon. I can't see it surviving, and it hasn't, so Gastrodon is gone. And Emilio is down. Sorry, Paul is down by one Pokemon. But the belly drum comes in. That's why I thought, even though he's lost one Pokemon, Paul is in definitely the commanding position. It gets its maximum attack, and it's going to get its berry drop. So now, basically, anything that comes into that Snorlax is dead. Is going to absolutely die. There's nothing that can withstand that. Snorlax, again, is such a monster, but it's got to be careful. If it goes for a Frustration onto that Gengar, it could switch. It can't use an Earth move. If it uses a Frustration into the Gengar, it's not going to hurt it at all. Just it does a ground move, it could switch to Incineroar. So we've got the Incineroar coming back in. I should have said Incineroar. It couldn't do Thunderous, Landorus. Yes, my voice is going, my mind is going at this moment. So I still think Paul is in the definite position, even though he's 1-1 down. I still think he's got to play this. If he plays this smartly, he should be okay. I think that Gengar has to get out of there. I think he's in such a bad position at the moment. You've got the Incineroar. The problem is Incineroar can just use the Fake Out into Latias, and then that Gengar is going to be an absolute sitting duck for what it's going to do. But let's see what Paul's going to go into. If I was Paul, I'd be going straight for that Latias, and then Snorlax go after whatever is going to be probably switching in. Let's see what does switch in. I called it correctly. It is the Incineroar. It's taking that -6 to -5. Sorry, to +6 to +5. But again, it's not going to survive getting hit by a Snorlax attack. Is it going to be a Frustration, or is he going to go for the ground move? It's Latias uses Protect, so he's not going to get faked out. He's trying to keep hold of that Latias, but the Incineroar uses Flare Blitz. Let's see how instead of Fake Out, and he's gone into the Incineroar. So it's not done that much damage, but let's see what the Snorlax is going to go for. It's gone Frustration into the Latias. That's well played, so Paul's been able to save it for another turn. But now the Emilio's Incineroar has the Fake Out, so it's probably going to go onto the Snorlax. I would, anything to stop it. The problem is, what has Emilio got to stop Paul Snorlax? What has it got? We don't know what his fourth Pokemon is yet. It's got to be Landorus. It has to be Landorus because there's really nothing that's going to be able to do. Incineroar, yes, it is a physical attacker, but you mostly use Incineroar as a support mon. Try and keep it bulky. You give it an Assault Vest so it can survive, so it can switch in, so it can fake out. You don't really want to use it going for attacks if you can help it. So the Latias comes back, and it is the Landorus, which is the fourth Pokemon, and that's going to take the Snorlax from +5 to +4. It's also going to weaken that Incineroar a little bit more. So I suspect Paul's Incineroar is probably going to be coming back, and actually it does not. Sorry, we don't know if it's still stay out, but the Gengar's back in. Is Paul going to keep his one? No, he's decided to use a Snarl. That's a brilliant call. So Snarl's going to go onto the Gengar. It is super effective, doesn't do a lot of damage, but it does lower its special attack, making it that little bit worse. Snorlax uses Frustration. What a play, what a read, because it goes into the Gengar and it's not effective. Ghost types laugh at normal types, so he's managed to keep it going another turn. Now you can see that either Gengar or Landorus is going to switch and rotate the Incineroar. It's working quite well so far. Paul's got to get a correct switch. He's probably thinking, oh god, I was in a position where I was +6 and I'm going to have something that's +3, which is still able to kill anything, by the way. It's still, I think in the +2, it's still killable range for anything. But what's he going to do? What's the gamble he's going to make? He knows if he can go for a Frustration on that Landorus. I don't think it's got Protect. Oh, it has got Protect. He's got to make that gamble. He could go for a high horsepower, but then he could bring in the Latias. If that happens, if he goes for Landorus, the Landorus could Protect. So what's he going to do? So Gengar's coming back. Who's it going to be? It is Incineroar. So Incineroar comes in. That takes the Snorlax down to +3. It is really, really very good rotation of the highest level. Absolute guesswork. Working with that works well with that Gengar. So Landorus uses the U-turn. That does it on the Incineroar. Does an okay, decent amount of damage. But he's able to bring in whoever he wants now. Whether he wants to bring in Gengar or he wants to bring in Latias. I suspect it'll be the Gengar back in again to stop that swap. Keep that swapping. It is Gengar to stop the frustration going into it. But also keeps those Intimidate cycles coming in. So Incineroar, Paul's Incineroar is going back into probably the Incineroar again. It is, so it's another repeat play. Nothing's really changed there. But what's the Snorlax going to do? He's gone for Frustration, and he's gone for the Gengar again. Emilio, you are a genius. You are showing why you are on the final stage, Sunshine. But again, we've got that situation again. Paul has guessed wrong 3 times, or Emilio has outplayed him 3 times. He really has done. You know, normally when a belly drum comes out, that is game over, but he's done so well. So Emilio's does a fake out on to the opposing Incineroar. He uses the Perish Song. Okay, so now the Snorlax is trapped. It can't move, and it will die after 3 moves. Frustration does go on to the Incineroar. That's going to knock it out. No way is it surviving. So finally Paul gets his first kill. But now we've got a stage where Gengar and everybody else is out in 3 turns. So all that Paul has to do, all Emilio has to do, is get rid of 1. He just has to get rid of 1 of Paul's Pokemon, and then literally that Snorlax is going to be stuck for the ride. Now here we go, the Landorus is in. It could go after, it could, if it wanted to, go after the Incineroar, and you could just have Gengar protected out, just to try and keep itself healthy if it can, swap into the Latias, but if it does, the Gengar does come out, and the Perish Song trap, the Arena Trap is gone, and Snorlax will get the hell out of there. So let's see what it's going to have. Snorlax could also get its berry back. It hasn't. It's already used it, so it needs a refresh to get that back. It's still very tense at the moment. I thought once that belly drum went up, it was completely all over. But now we are still going. So where are we going to go with this next? So the Gengar uses Protect, so that means that Snorlax is going to be here for another turn. The Landorus uses Protect. Okay, so now that Perish Song has gone down to 2. It is very close. Incineroar uses Snarl, but it's not going to do anything as both are protected, and it's not going to matter what the Snorlax is going to do either. I imagine that Snorlax is very frustrated at the moment. So now we're getting back to guesswork what we're going to do. Both those Pokemon, you've got Frustration, you've got High Horsepower. We haven't seen High Horsepower. I'm just making that assumption. It's going to have one, because a lot of that time it did have High Horsepower. It was the ground move of choice, but it just had that 90% accuracy. No, 95 accuracy percent. There's always that 5% you're not asked. Actually, you need it to hit, and it does hit, and you're like, bah, bah. Paul must be literally about to headbutt Emilio. The guy in the back, you can see my Emilio looks like he's on his phone. He doesn't really know what he's doing. Like, what is he doing? Yeah, he's just checking his phone. I was talking about you. Don't try and sniff your nose. You know, you just caught you out, mate. Definitely weren't doing your job. So the Gengar uses a substitute. Wow, I forgot it had substitutes. That's why I should make notes. Landorus comes back in. That's going to go. So Landorus uses U-turn and Incineroar. This will mean that he's going to bring in the Latias. He has Lorilos and Incineroar. So Latias is coming in, but Paul's got to be hoping. What's Paul crossing his fingers for? He knows it's Latias. What's he gone for? He knows. His Snarl's come in. Is that going to break the barrier? And it's got rid of Gengar. It has got rid of Gengar. I did not know that Snarl went past barriers. I did not know that, which means that Latias is completely open to getting smacked by Snorlax. And this is going to be it. Emilio puts his hand out. He knows he's been beaten. Paul has absolutely done it. He is over the moon. You think he knows it is in his hands. We had Emilio did put his handshake out. I don't think Paul shook it, but not out of disrespect. I think Paul's just taken aback by that play. Literally now, I think all the poo has come out of him. I would be over the moon. I would obviously not say that if this was an actual video game championship. Come on. And all it needs to be is Emilio going to let him just play it out, or is he going to forfeit? Paul is absolutely done this. Although the attack is now down to +2, he's in such a good position now. That Snorlax will finish off anything. And Salamence comes back in. What's Emilio going to do? Who's he going to go after? But Salamence comes in and just makes that Landorus a little bit weaker. I love how the trainer tip comes up. We've been seeing it all game. Oh, Emilio being a bit nasty there. He's decided to use the Protect. But that means that Snorlax is going to be going down to... Snorlax is gone. It's the Perish Trap's gone. But I don't think Emilio's too bothered because he's going to have his own Incineroar come back in, which is going to make that Landorus -2 defense. And then you're going to have that Salamence is going to be able to wipe the board. I think Paul's going to start crying. I would. I think he has started crying. Emilio must be feeling absolutely gutted. I think you would, and I can't blame anyone would. I've been gutted when I've been knocked out of tournaments, but Paul has played this so well. I feel sorry for Emilio as those final few games, that game has been fantastic, and that is showing how you rotate Pokemon correctly, how you do it well. So as we see now, good old shiny Salamence, legitimately caught. Salamence is going to be using it, a Mega Evolution to clear up the board, but this is also a lesson of how you can use Pokemon correctly. Goes for a Protect, Landorus goes for a Protect, it's going to get faked out, and then you've got a Dragon Dance. I don't know why he's used Dragon Dance, he could have just gone for the kill. Maybe it's thinking it had a Rock Slide, I don't know. We'll probably have to interview Paul, but I don't think Paul's going to be ready for an interview. But this is a game you should see if you want it. Has he forfeited? He has, he's forfeited. Paul is your world champion of 2018. The fans are going wild. Look at them all in that little pocket where the rest don't even seem arsed. But he is done fat. Paul, well done. Get on that stage.